Hello, I am Zamira Abbasova. Originally, I'm from Armenia, but in 1988 we moved to Azerbaijan as Nagorno-Karabakh conflict refugees. I have grown up in Azerbaijan. I've studied in Azerbaijan. My childhood, my memories of home are from Azerbaijan, but unfortunately, I have left the country in 2015 to find a better refuge. Um, Around 2012, Azerbaijani government has launched serious oppression and attacks towards civil society, activists and organizations, those who were opposing the government, those who were demanding democratic government, fair elections, liberties, freedom of speech, better economic situation for socially challenged. You name it, anyone who had an oppositional view became a target of Azerbaijani government's attack. National security was following everyone. We were being interrogated. There was a lot of police brutality for everyone who was coming out to streets to demand justice and freedoms. Currently, not much has changed. Unfortunately, we still have about 80 people in jail only because they believed in the democracy, rule of law, and freedom of speech. Many of them are still journalists from different backgrounds, and currently we do not have any way of helping these people, as many of us have left Azerbaijan. Situation of journalism is not any better. Either you stay in the country and work for national TV, national newspapers, and become part of the bigger propaganda, or you change your job and do something else, because as a journalist it is almost impossible to function inside the country. There are no projects. Foreign media is unable to provide the local journalists with any jobs. Almost all the oppositional TV channels, newspapers have been shut down. So the journalists do not have workplaces. The journalists do not have safety. The journalists do not have accreditation. The journalists do not have a country where they can safely work and be proud of who they are, and just do their jobs as journalists, be neutral. Unfortunately, Azerbaijan is not the kind of a country where freedom of speech can flourish and journalists can do their jobs without being hunted, without being interrogated, without being beaten, without losing their equipment, without being constantly pushed out by the current government. Currently, I work and live in the Netherlands, and thanks to ICORN project, and my city was hosting me in the Netherlands. Now I have a safe space, a better environment where I can openly speak about what is going on in my country, and why I can't be home and instead seek refuge in other countries. Currently, I'm working on researching violences towards Azerbaijani women, and crimes that have been committed by Azerbaijani women. The country has a really long-standing history of domestic violence that, unfortunately, rule of law is not really helping. And women are being killed by their husbands, by their ex-husbands, by their boyfriends, by their ex-boyfriends, by their fathers, by their brothers, and these numbers are rising every day. And unfortunately, there is not much can be done, especially from outside, apart from just researching and then looking at numbers, looking at who these people are, what their background is, and how the crime has happened. So currently I'm researching all these crimes that are being committed towards the women in my country. For me as a journalist, it's really important to know that whatever I write and I say outside of the borders of Azerbaijan, they do not affect the safety of my friends and family who are still residing in Azerbaijan, who still work in Azerbaijan, and the power of my words or the effect of my words should not affect their lives. So it is important for me to watch my words, to make sure that whatever I say does not affect them one way or the other, because Azerbaijan is not a free country, and even if you are safe outside of the borders, the people who are still inside of the country and who are somehow related to you are not really safe. Unfortunately, in terms of freedom of expression, not much is happening in my country because it can't happen in my country. You can't speak up, you can't participate in the protests, you can't openly write about things. If you write, you have consequences. Your family gets bullied, your friends get arrested, you get interrogated. There are lots of consequences to what you could say. That will put you in danger and that will put your life in danger. So almost not much is happening in terms of freedom of expression. Um, Journalists do not have accreditation. Journalists do not have grants. Journalists do not have workplaces. Journalists do not have avenues, platforms where they can openly speak and write about things that they see and they are supposed to write because this is their job. That wouldn't put their life in danger. Since the pandemics have started, obviously the work of um, the activists, journalists, human rights defenders have gotten even worse, because even more so, everyone is under the spotlight. Anyone in the country who is trying to get out, they're supposed to send an SMS, get a confirmation from the government, only then they can get out. And even if they do, it is only for 2 hours. So it is really easy to get arrested, get caught, and fined under the quarantine regime, because they can control you even more. Just on April 11th, about 6 prominent members of the opposition party have been arrested under the quarantine regime's rules. The government has said that all of them have violated one way or the other the quarantine regime rules by moving, by going somewhere, by working or doing things that normally they're supposed to be doing, even if during the quarantine regime. So journalists cannot really get out to prepare materials, reports from the places without being caught or fined. The number of projects coming from the foreign media has been reduced, obviously, and so no jobs. They are not able to get out. They are not able to earn any money. So obviously, yes, the conditions of the journalists, as well as the situation of the freedom of speech and expression, is wildly under attack, and pandemics is not really helping it. During these hard times, to make sure that I'm in touch with my friends who are stuck inside the country, who are unable to leave because there is a ban on their travel, and also the city borders have been shut down due to pandemics in Azerbaijan. It is very important for me to keep in touch with them and to make sure that they understand they are not alone. They have at least a moral support, because we cannot financially support them. We cannot send them projects. The only way of supporting these people is being in touch, talking to them and then letting them know that they are not alone. And many of us are going through the same thing as they do. It is really hard to help anyone in Azerbaijan at the moment, because of the regime, because of the government, because of the rules. And that's really sad that we can't get foreign aid. The organizations are unable to apply for grants, and many other organizations are even unable to use the existing grants in their bank account because there are arrests on their bank accounts. The criminal cases are still open against the exiled media like Meydan TV and their employees. So yeah, it is really hard to be positive or try to do something about the situation. Even if pandemics resolve, there is not really much that we outside of the country can do for the people who are stuck inside. Sadly, it's really hard to achieve all of these in a repressive country um, where the government holds everything extremely tight. There is only a very limited tight opportunity for us to achieve that change, and that is to empower, to continue supporting the people who are stuck in the countries like this, who are still trying to do their job, who are still you know, their safety is compromised, their values are compromised, their self-esteem is compromised, their financial stability, identity is compromised. The least that we can do in these times, especially, is to keep in touch with them, to let them know they're not alone, and that we are with them. And if there's anything that we can do, we should do to support these people, not to feel lonely, and not to feel abandoned, because there is only this number of people who are still left inside the country, who are brave, extremely brave, who are pushing through the mountain every single day with every single moment, trying to just do their job. So the least we can do for these people is just be of support and let them know we are thinking of them, and how proud we are with these people, and that they could come to us if they need any help, and we should be there to help these people.